Hey, what's going on, Internet? Welcome back to episode number 2 of Logo Design Bootcamp. My name is Steve Looney, and I'm the owner of GraphicDesignerTips.com. And each week, we produce a new episode where we utilize a different letter of the alphabet, and we create a fictitious logo for you to learn about. We critique it, and we actually teach you different tools in Adobe Illustrator on how to build it. Okay, so I was looking for inspiration for the second episode of Letter B, and it came to me after doing all yard work, project work, visiting friends and family. It was an exhausting weekend. I came back home, kicked up my feet on the couch. I cracked open a nice beer. And so what I have done is I have created a fictitious logo for a company called Barrelers Beer, and I portray it as a German-based company because I took a trip to Germany last year, and I have a lot of photos which I'm going to utilize. I have utilized into this logo, and it's just inspiration, putting the ideas together, and going with it. And before I forget, did you not see the branding on the bottle? This is Barrelers Beer right here. That does not taste like Sam Adams anymore. I guarantee it. You change the branding, you change everything. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's critique this logo real quick. We have a Gothic medieval type of font face, which really makes it that German type feel, and that's what I was kind of going for here. So I found a free font on the internet that I was able to utilize for this tutorial to show you the effect of that. There's two images in this piece. There is a background wood texture that I found, and this picture actually is one that I took of these buildings up here. It's actually a place in Frankfurt called Frankfurt am Main, and it's pretty cool because it's a picture I took with my iPhone, and then I was able to convert it into vector art, which means that it can be printed anywhere. It can be printed vinyl banners, any type of printer. It's not going to have an issue. I could scale this up as big as I want this image, and it's not going to distort, which is really cool. Right here we have these little wheat things over here hanging around, kind of making that circular shape around the logo, and it's actually a brush that I created and then made the brush stroke, so I'll show you that in the tutorial. And it's just it's basically the whole concept is the barrel of beer, and it facing you, and basically utilizing the fonts and the images, it makes it feel real and authentic, even though this is just for the purpose of this tutorial. Okay, so we're gonna start with we have most of the elements to this logo are on the screen right now. We're gonna start with the word Barrelers. We're gonna come up and change the font to the font that I found, and we're gonna make that nice and large. We're gonna create outlines on this by going to Type, Create Outlines, and now there's actual shape, so we can put a gradient in it. And we're gonna put a gradient by coming over here and clicking, and we're gonna change that gradient from this brown to black. All right, we're going to come to our gradient tool, and we're going to move that into the way that we want it. All right, now to make the background of the actual barrel, we're going to just create a circle and put a little brown stroke on it, and we're going to overlay that circle onto whatever image that you're looking to have. Now, if you're worried about the fact that image and vector art, you can always do a live trace or an image trace on this, which is what we're going to do on the other photo, and you're going to have no problems with using it as vector art, for certain printers that you may be using. But we're going to take these two elements here to make the circular shape. We need to make it fit in the other one. We're going to make sure that the circle is on top of the shape. It has to be on top for this to work. And we're going to highlight both. We're going to right click, and we're going to make clipping mask. All right, so now we lost our stroke, so we're going to have to come over here to our stroke, come to our color, and we're going to have to add some stroke onto that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to overlay that to get the exact size that we had, or at least very close. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to put Barrelers onto here, and I'm going to go to Object. I'm going to send it to the back, Arrange Send to Back. Now, we need to create this white behind the letters, and the way that I would do that is you would select the letters using the the selection tool, which is V on the keyboard, and I always like to copy and paste one behind it, because when you add a stroke to letters, you're going to see what's going to happen. We're going to add a white stroke to just this top element, and the more you add the stroke to it, the more it cuts away this word. All right, you don't want that to happen. We're going to come back here and we're going to copy, or go to Object or Edit, Copy, and then we're going to go to Edit, Paste, and Back. It's going to paste right behind the other word. It's not going to paste behind that barrel. And this is very important, because now we're going to add a white stroke onto this one. That's the second copy behind the first. And you can't see it yet because there's no weight. We're going to add some weight to that. And you're going to see it's not taking away from the brown. All right. And just a little bit less. And the last thing I'm going to do is to fill in these little areas right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to make a white rectangle, and I'm going to fill it with white. This is how I did it, and it's kind of a sloppy way to do it, but just kind of do it real quick just to show you. And here's our rectangle. Now we're going to come here, marquee both of those layers, because there are 2 layers of words, and we're going to come to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front, and now it's going to be right behind it. And we're probably going to need to center this a little bit. So just nudge it a little bit to the left. And we're good on that. All right, next, we're going to take this photo and we're going to do an image trace on it. And it's going to take this photo of this square that I took with my iPhone. And it's going to create an image. We're going to do 3 colors. Okay, so now when we have our image like that, we're going to hit expand, and it's going to turn it into our vector art, which is awesome, because no matter how high we blow this up, it's not going to distort. Now, I'm going to overlay this into my logo area, and right now it's actually you'll see a couple of things. We'll zoom in here. There's all this extra building here, which is kind of messy looking. There's this extra area in here. And there's this kind of this extra stuff going on over here. We can make a clipping mask like we did with the barrel and the circle, and we're going to do that to this image. But first, before, I'm going to scale this down a little bit to how it is in the finalized logo, and I'm going to get rid of this white by hitting it with the direct selection and deleting. And I'm going to scale this to where we really kind of want it to be. All right. All right. Now, and it automatically placed it behind the words, which was good. We're going to come over to our transparency. All right, leave that in there. While we have this selected, we're going to come into our transparency and hit overlay. You're going to get a different effect on each. And overlay kind of gives it that golden, like engraved type of look. It's pretty cool. So if you want to change, you can actually change the vector art in here to different colors, and you'll have different effects. That's what I did in here. That's why it looks so gold in the final one. And I'm going to take my clipping mask, my pen tool, and I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to go around this because I want all this stuff in here to get wiped out, because that's not part of anything. That's just extra crap. That's just highlighted. All right, we're gonna come up here, step. I'm kind of rough doing this. Come down here. I'm basically outlining what I want, and what I basically, if I don't outline, if it's not within here, I don't want it. All right, we're going to click that. We're going to get our selection tool V. While we have the clipping mask, desired clipping mask shape, we're going to click the other element, and we're going to right click, make clipping mask. And now it took out all that stuff there, and on the side over here. All right. Now, if you notice, we got this little funky stuff going on here. We need to send our type to the front by selecting these 2 layers, come into Object, Arrange, Bring to Front, and now you don't see that anymore. And the next thing, which is the really cool thing that if you don't know this, it's really going to help you out a lot. I created these little vector shapes of a little wheat, I don't know what you would call it, a wheat leaf or whatever, but by basically taking the pen tool and just kind of doing like a rough, whoops, that looks like, doesn't look like it. let's see. Here we go. And selecting this and then just creating this little shape in here. And what I did was I created I created these, and I created a little stem, and when I was done I grouped it. And now I'm going to ungroup everything for a second so you see. Before they look like this. And now I'm going to select everything and group them. And the reason I'm grouping them is because I'm going to make a brush that whenever I do any kind of a brush stroke, it's going to, this is what's going to paint on the canvas, not a color, a picture, or basically a pattern. So, well, sort of like a pattern. So we're going to select this group. We're going to come over here to our brushes. We're going to come down to the options, click new brush, and we're going to make a new art brush. Okay. And in here, it's going to show us, don't worry about all these other stuff. We're just going to change one little thing, the direction. All right, you see the directions going from here to here. You want it to go from here to here because this is going to be the back point. Wherever we move our brush, this is going to be at the tip and this is going to be at the back. And you'll see in 1 second. We're going to hit OK. We're going to come into our brush tool, and just so you see what's going on here, that's basically what's happening with the shape that we made. It's really, really cool. Trust me, this little tool, if you didn't know it already, or you know these couple little options right here, you're going to make awesome logos in no time. So basically, you could do this free form like this. And the way that you change the width of that is with the stroke. And you're going to, this is at 1 point right now. So we're going to do this to like 0.04. And depending how zoomed in you are on your canvas is going to determine, you know, how many points you need. You might be at 10 points and it looks like that. So, all right, that's way too thin, 0.02. Let's do 0.05. Okay. 0.09. All right. 0.3. Cool. All right. So it's all experimentation. Now I don't like the way it curved. It didn't, you know, I didn't do it correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to our pen tool, and I'm going to hold it down, add anchor point pen tool, or add anchor point tool, or hit the plus sign on the keyboard. Let's do that right in the middle. And now we can maneuver this however we want. So I can have it really curve around that circle. Remember, guys, design is about being neat, proportionate, and you know, people are going to see if things aren't balanced. You know, it's just not going to look right, and you don't want to do shoddy work like that anyway. So we're going to take this, and we're going to hold Option. We're going to copy this over, Option, click, and pull. While you're holding Shift too, hold Shift down so it stays within line. And we're going to come over here to the Reflect tool, flip this bad boy backwards, move it into place. All right. We're going to come up here to our type tool, and I think I said established 1800, and we're going to make that nice and small, and we're going to lift these up a little bit because I really wanted these to kind of contain that word. It's about creating the balance. And the last thing, well, actually not the last thing, but the second to last thing is you want to create a circle that's about the size of this, and we're going to bring it down here. And we're going to come up to the type tool, type on a path tool. And we're going to click this, and we're going to type authentic, and this is too big, so I'm going to select all. I'm going to lower the point size on this a lot. Authentic, German, Frankfurt, Amen beer. All right, now there's a problem. If you look, it's on the outside. We need to get this so it's basically on the inside, or on flipped outside, so it reads like it does over here. So we're going to come to our direct selection. And what we're going to do is, this is experimentation. So these little points that hang out, you can actually maneuver them with the direct selection. So, oh, there we go. If we pull this in, just come from the right and pull it to the left. It's going to, but it's very, you know, you got to be very careful because you move just slightly, it pops out of the circle. So we're going to get that to where we want it to be. We're going to move that under our logo. All right, so it's not exactly what we want, and we're going to fix that. instead of just leaving it. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to take this point right here with the direct selection by hitting A, and we're going to bend this in, and we're going to bend it in more. All right. And I don't like that, so we're going to back up. Okay, we can change the curves on here. That look actually pretty good. And we're going to pull that bad boy out. All right, so the last thing I want to show you is a couple little ideas that I had while I was working on this conceptually. This was kind of like the beginning, starting from like the top. I really wanted to make my whole logo idea in the beginning was to really incorporate the letter into it, the B. So I kind of had this B coming out of the top right here on Barrelers. But after working with this logo, if you see all the versions, I didn't feel like, you know, especially these two. This one's pretty good right here. I do like it. Maybe moving this to the middle a little bit more well balanced. But I didn't fall in love with it, honestly, and I didn't want to half-ass this. So it's a cool looking logo, but it wasn't what I wanted to represent. So I started moving into other little things over here. This is actually overlapping that, but then over here, I mean, this is kind of just a mess around. I don't know what I was doing there. This, I was thinking, you know, label wise for, you know, because if you type in, go to Google and type in, you know, beer logo, you're gonna have all this awesome stuff come up, and it's the way, like the old-fashioned looking logos, they're very cool the way that they're designed. And then I came over here and I fell in love with this for a little bit, but it's still, I wasn't happy with it, you know, at all. And then I messed with this little guy over here. I did some stupid thing up here, and there's a lot of other stuff on my canvas I was working on. But this is what we came up with in the end, and it looks real, authentic, just like the authentic saying of the beer.